Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to solve another problem from CP-31 sheet. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So let's start by understanding the problem first. Problem saying we are given a permutation of size n and we can do following operation. What operation? Okay, we can choose any index of n minus 1 such that if a minus 1 index is less than ai and ai is greater than ai plus 1, then we can swap ai and ai plus 1. Okay, and we have to determine whether it's possible to solve the permutation after a finite number of operation or not. If it is possible, return yes. If not, return no. So let's come here and understand if you didn't. So the problem saying we are given a permutation, and in this permutation, uh, we can choose any index between 2 to n minus 1. Okay, and they if they are like this, is if ai minus 1 is less than ai and ai is greater than ai plus 1, in that case we can swap ai and ai plus 1. Okay, and after swapping we can perform any number of operation like this. We can simply swap many times, and we just have to return whether after doing this operation many times, is it possible to sort this permutation, let's call array, or not. So simply we have to return. So let's analyze. In problem we are given we can only choose element from I minus 1, index to I minus 1. So let's call this is index 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4 and 5. So here I will take I can choose I from this index. I can't start from here. Okay, I will choose from this. If it is my I have to check this situation. I have to look for this situation where my I minus 1 value is less than I and I plus 1 value is all, and I plus 1 is also less than I. So let's first find such situation. So if I take this, if one is less than 3, yeah, and 2 is less than 3, it is following this operation. So I can swap. What I can swap? I only swap I and I plus 1. Only this. Let's add comma here. Okay, we can swap them. Let's call it swap. Okay, we can swap. Let's start right here. Swap. Okay, we can swap only them. uh, okay, let's not waste much time. Okay, so after swapping, what happens here? When I swap, my 2 come here and 3, my 2 come here and 3 come here. Now what I can do, I move my I again. I search for such situation. Let's move my I here. Check my I minus 1 is less than I and I plus 1 is not less than I. So this is not the situation. So again I move here. My I minus 1 is less than I, but and also my I plus 1 is also less than I. In that case I can again swap, which only I and I plus 1. So I again swap. So after swapping, my 4 will come here and my 5 will come here, and this way I am able to sort my computation. It is in sorted. So yes, in this case I can return yes. Let's analyze another example. Let's call this and say whether we will able to sort this or not. Again, check for this condition. Here I minus 1 is less than I and I minus 1 is also less than I. So what's happened here? I can simply swap what I and I plus 1. So I plus 1 is 1 and I is 3. I will swap. What's happened? I will move next. Here my I, let's call here my I is I. After swapping, I will, let's call I. After swapping, what I can do simply, I move my I check, is this following the situation again? No, because my I minus 1 is less than I, but I plus 1 is not less than I. So now I can't move. Now move here. What's happened? Again, there is nothing. So in this way, I am not able to sort my array. So in this case, I will return no. Okay, we have understood the problem, but what the intuition? What should be the solution for this problem? So the idea is very simple. If you noticed, we have to check on because in problem saying we only take I from 2 to n minus 1, we can only start choosing my I from this index, not this. So I am never considering my first problem, and this is the cause in this problem, because I am not able to start from this. So I never able to swap this problem because I can only swap I and I plus 1, and here my I is this is always I minus 1. In no case I am swapping this. uh, Always I am starting from I, and I am never swapping this because always I swap I and I plus 1. So in that case, if at first value it is larger, it always uh, it never get it's never get in swapping and never uh, get at last. So it always become impossible to sort us. Simply we have to check whether if any element is less than this first element or not. Why we check only for this? Because this is only element we are not considering in swapping. For other element we can swap whenever it is following this scenario, we can swap. But in this swapping I am never considering my this index 0 in 1 index. So I have to check simply uh, for this value, if there is lesser than any value in the whole rest of the array, rest of the permutation. In this case, I will always return no, because I will never swap, I can never swap by this value with the minimum that we have found in rest of the time. So, hope you got the idea. We have simply check the minimum value. If I found any minimum value less than this, in that case, I can return no, because I never going to swap. Here why it is possible to get sorted, because here my first element is lesser than all the element. If we come here and show you, here in this case my first element is always lower than rest. There is no element in this whole permutation that is less than this element, so it is possible to swap. But if I take this example, here my first element is larger and there is so many lower element in this value, but I am never going to swap I minus 1 value. So what happens? It always stay here, and it never becomes sorted. That's the idea. Hope you get it. So the algorithm, how our algorithm will look like, we will run a for loop and we track, we will search for element which is less than I, which is less than this first value. If I found that, what I can do, I can simply return no. If I didn't found any lower value than this, so I know for rest of the value I am able to swap, because I am swapping every time whenever I found any mismatch like this. I can swap. So rest of the thing I don't have to worry, because I can do many number of operation. I am only uh, I have to only take care of this value. If it is not smaller than all the value, then it cause problem. Yeah, we have understood. Let's come to our intelligence and start coding. I have created the jagged swap number method, means class already. We have to just create our function. So how can I create my functions? We know we have to write public void, public static void, not void. We will return string yes or no. So let's call string. Le- what we can give name of our function, let's call is sorted, because we have to only find whether it is sortable or not. Let's call it sortable. Sortable, क्या ये sort हो सकता है या नहीं, like this. So what I need a integer nums array, nums. Yeah, that's only I need. And what I do, I simply run a for loop. For before running for loop, I will first take my first element. Let's call it first, 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 and call it nums 0. Yeah. Now what I can do, I run a for loop int I equal to 1. I will start from 1 to I less than nums dot length. Yeah. And keep moving like this. Okay, and what I have to do, I have to simply check if in my rest of the array, in rest of the nums, if I found any element lesser than my first FIRST first, if I found any such element, it's or let's correct here FIRST and FIRST. If it is, if any, if I found any element less than first terms of I, what I can do, I can simply return no, because it is not possible to sort them. Else simply return at last when my for loop ends gets end. I never found any element lesser than first element. In that case, it is possible to sort them by uh, uh, by swapping any number of times. So at last, I can simply return yes, it is. It will be possible. Okay, let's uh, let's read the test cases from here. We know how we read that using a scanner. Let's create a scanner object, a scanner sc equal to new scanner, a scanner, and here we write system.in because we have to read file. Yeah, after that, what I need there, first line contains the number of test cases. So in I will take it into my three variable like this sc dot next int like this. Here it is it giving me total number of test cases. I will iterate over my all test cases one by one like this until it gets end, until it becomes 0. And for each test case, what I need two things. If I come here and show you for each test case what things I have given, let's come here. For each test case I am given uh, okay, two values here. If I hover over this, if go the yellowish line is telling this two line is for one for one method. So here first line giving me the number of permutation, how many elements in that permutation array, and second line is my permutation array. So we have to first get the number of element, and now later we have to create the array. So let's come here. We know how we do that because in every question we will do the same. So it is first line give me the n. How can we take that? sc dot next. Yeah, and for that I need to create a nums array. I call it nums or permutation, whatever you want. You can write. Let's what its size will be. First new come then int. What its size will be n. Now I will run a for loop. I will run iterate over my each element and store into array. So for that I need a variable I, and I keep running until my n I iterate over all the nums, and I simply store in my nums like this. This is a boilerplate code we always write like this sc dot next int. What's happening? Nothing. Yeah, or simply I increase my I pointer. Yeah, we have created our nums array. Now what we have to do, we have to simply call our function. What the function name is sortable, and we have to pass our nums array like this. And we know in Codeforces we have to print instead of system dot out dot print ln like this, and again come yeah, and like this I will simply print. This is my algorithm for this problem. Simply copy it and let's come and submit here. Go to submit and just submit it. Before submitting, we have to write the problem number as well. So let's take the problem number from here. It is 1896A. 1896A. Just keep in mind 18968 1896A like this. 1896. It should be 6. Okay, but simply paste our code. Yeah, I have pasted that, and okay, just submit. It's taking time more than expected, and after taking so much time it gives us the wrong answer. Why wrong answer on test 1? Let's come here and let's debug what's happening here. We started from our first index, keep running until for every value whenever I found any lower value. Okay, we have written wrong. here it should be smaller. Whenever I find smaller value less than my first, in that case I have to return no. Okay, sorry for the mistakes. Let's copy again, come here. So copy paste our code. What the problem number is? 18186A. That is A. Yeah, let's submit again. Yeah, it's got accepted. Our logic was correct. Yeah, this is the idea for this problem. If you like the explanation, please consider to like my video, subscribe my channel, and just write any comment whatever you feel. Thank you for watching.